Reuters.
Ahead of Passover and across Israel, people are preparing for the holidays, one of the major religious events of the year. Shopping for Passover is a complex procedure, with a shopping list limited by religious rulings on what can and can't be consumed. Most Jews in Israel will observe the religious prohibition during Passover against eating food, bread in particular, with yeast in it, which is why you'll see a lot of these matzah, which is bread without yeast, sold ahead of Passover. But for Ashkenazi Jews, Jews of European descent, there's another list called kitniot, and on that list this year is something that's causing quite a stir. Kitniot groups together things that can be consumed for the rest of the year by observant Ashkenazi Jews, but which must be avoided during the holiday. This year, some rabbis included hemp on their list of kitniot, and that's raised a few eyebrows. The hemp family of plants includes this infamous weed, cannabis sativa, marijuana. The pro-pot lobby in Israel has embraced the rabbi's ruling with religious fervor, saying if hemp is kitniot, that must mean it's kosher for the other 51 weeks of the year.
The most important thing that's come out of this is that people are discussing whether or not cannabis is kosher for Pesach and whether or not cannabis is kosher the rest of the year. Because if cannabis is kosher, then I think that's going to have a major impact on legalization worldwide, and that's our issue. We want people to be able to smoke marijuana legally here in Israel, and we want people to be able to come and sit at a cafe in Jerusalem, even if they're not religious, even if they're not Jewish, and have a spiritual experience in the Holy Land.
While some say that cannabis is specifically mentioned in the Torah and point to the edict from on high that all plants were put on earth for man to use, Israel's chief Ashkenazi rabbi says God's orders to stay healthy trump any other edict, particularly about drugs.
You cannot allow to call something that showed your life kosher thing, kosher product, because to be kosher, you have to keep the orders and commandments from God. And when God asked you to keep yourself and you use drugs, you cannot say that the drugs are kosher.
Anyone hoping that a religious decree on dope might help them bypass the very clear civil law banning marijuana in Israel needs to think again. When the rabbis and the police both say no in Israel, that's a no. In Jerusalem, I'm Reuters reporter Julian Rake.